You know, he's going to go through the basic maintenance of the machine, the grease points, where to drain fluids, where to add fluids, filters. Obviously, we've got several filters. We've got fuel filters, we've got air filters, spark plugs.
Oil filters.
And we're also going to do some like troubleshooting, preventative maintenance. We've seen a lot of mechanical failures because of lack of maintenance, so we want to show you guys what we see out here in the shop, so hopefully you guys don't have major problems down the road. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nels.
Okay.
And, he and I are going to work together with you guys, just going over the basics.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deck off the machine. Easiest way is to drop it all the way down. And got a bunch of pins, a bunch of hangers. I find it easiest to pull them off the top, leave everything you can on the deck. And there's the same on the other side that Gerard's working on. And you gotta watch, there are washers, little washers also. You have your engagement cable for the PTO. On the other end, it's a spring, just your basic spring. And this hooks into the idler arm for the tension. That I usually just try and get up out of the way. There's another pin up in front with another washer. Drop your front draft arm and the belt comes off. This is a manual engagement. So the belt's loose when it's not engaged. Some have an electric PTO clutch, and there's a tensioner with a spring. You got to physically move the tensioner out of the way in order to get enough slack to drop the belt. Just slide it out. And pretty much take the deck off. You see underneath your blades, this one has 2 bolts per blade to hold it on. Some of them have 1 bolt, 15 millimeters. Some are 22 millimeter on the center. This deck is pretty clean. When you do a lot of leaves, it seems to clean the deck up really nice. Big thing, mow the grass when it's dry. If you mow when it's wet, all of this can get clogged up with moldy, rotting, smelly, stinky grass.
Do you want us to ask questions?
Yeah, anytime.
High lift blades versus the straight blades.
With a bagger, you want the high lift. It's the lift edge right there. When I take them off, I'll show you. Mulching is different than side discharging. Grass has to be really dry. They say you can only take off a little bit at a time because it keeps everything in. It tries to chop it up really fine and disperses it back into the lawn. When you get a bagger or something, you need the high lift blade to get more flow because it's got to go up the chute and into the baggers. Standard blades, you know, side discharge. You can use high lift and just side discharge. What does happen though is it'll blow the grass a little further, like into the flower bed or into the driveway. I don't know, mulching side discharge, does that?
You know, a lot of people, if they have a bagger on their machine, they'll run the high lift blade year round.
All the time.
It gives it more vacuum, more suction, so if you want to stripe a lawn like you see the professional landscapers do. You do have a tendency, like Nels said, to pick up more debris, throw it around. A mulch blade, like Nels mentioned, is designed to chop up the grass and put it back in, so you're putting the nutrients back in the ground.
Some damaged blades we have here. This, you got a few. This is actually just worn out. It's supposed to be square. A lot of times the area where you're mowing your lawn has a lot of sand in it. The sand will actually wear your blades out. This isn't lifting as well as it should because it's missing, you know, a good corner of it.
Big chunk.
Big chunk. Same thing, the sharper the blades, the better the cut, the less wear and tear on the engine. These are just physically mutilated blades.
Those are mulchers, huh?
Yeah, these are. Got a pair of these, I forgot what they came off of. But, you know, rocks, they don't like rocks. People hit stuff with the decks, they'll bend the decks, you could bend a spindle. Then you get an uneven cut or a lot of vibration in the mower deck. Most of that isn't covered under warranty. You know, if you start hitting banging it across the stumps, rocks.
Roots that are, out of the dirt protruding out.
How often would you sharpen the blade?
People do usually once a year when they do the service on the tractor. Some people do it in the springtime. Some people do it in the fall. Some people, change your oil 3-4 times a year. Really depends on if you have a lot of sand, you might not be sharpening them that much. You might be replacing them, depending on the condition of the blade. All right, the deck is off, relatively clean. If that was really packed, I use a putty knife, scrape it all down. Before it goes on, clean everything off the top. You can see just the nature of the leaves and the sticks and everything. We check, make sure everything spins free. When the blades are on, I should have wiggled the spindle. If you have any side-to-side play, it's an indication that your spindle bearings are wearing. Check the belt while it's off. Any cuts, any slices, any cracks while it's off, might as well replace it. All right, then we'll get into changing the oil, air filter, and spark plug. This is a 17.5 horse Kohler. I think most of the Ds are running the Briggs, Gerard?
Yes.
It's very similar, very similar. Some of the older Briggs didn't have an oil filter. Some of them do. Oil filter's right here. The oil drain is right here. It's just a little turn to the right, and it pulls right off. It's just a plastic plug with 2 little notches in it. What I do to help speed it up, you could warm up the engine, which helps, thins out the oil, or you take the oil fill out and just let the oil drain. Grab the filter wrench, which I have over there. Oh, we'll take the hood wrench off. Watch the headlight. Just for visual, we took the hood right off. Right, oil filter right here. They got to be on pretty tight. I don't use the wrench to put them on.
You just do them hand tight?
Just hand tight. There's a little trick. You put a little bit of oil on the gasket. If you don't put the little oil on the gasket, it'll like seize, it'll lock onto the flange right there. It makes it really hard to take it off. You get your home maintenance kit, comes with 2 quarts of oil filter, air filter, pre-filter, and spark plug. I just take a little bit of oil on my finger, just rub it on the black gasket. What'll happen, you put this on dry, and then you go to peel it off, and it like glues itself onto the flange. They say like 3/4 of a turn after it bottoms out. You can go tighter if you want, just makes it harder to take it off next time. Too loose, I've seen them actually vibrate off and spray hot oil all over the machine, which is not fun. Air filter and pre-filter. Just a couple wing nuts. This is the paper element inside with a foam pre-filter on the outside. This one's still relatively clean. Pre-filter is relatively clean. Just discard those. And this is your new one. Some companies recommend you take this off. It's not on the filter when you get it, and coat it with WD-40. Wring it out, put it back on the filter. The oil helps trap the dust and will save a little bit the secondary filter. For show and tell, I'm not gonna do that. Just put the pre-filter on. Goes on like so. And put all your wing nuts back on. And your top cover. Then if you guys want to stand up and go to the other side, I could do the spark plug and the fuel filter. Now, being a Kohler, this has a fuel pump on it. A lot of the Briggs are just gravity from the tank. This is the overhead valve. A lot of them nowadays, like all of them are. They got rid of the flatheads. They even have emissions requirements on these small engines. They're trying to get them to burn cleaner. And this is a special spark plug tool. It has a little rubber piece in there so it won't break the porcelain. Has happened. You tighten up the plug, you have the wrong socket, you crack it, you hook it back up, it won't start.
It's like the new plug. Well, what is
Yeah, how come the new plug? Or I've seen, you know, the case, the home maintenance kit will get dropped and the electrode will be touching. Same thing, you put it in, won't start. What did I do wrong? Yada, yada, yada. It's just one of them things that happens. The fuel filter is hiding over here. I just use a pair of vice grips to shut, you know, to crimp the line. 2 spring clamps. These can be fun because the hose sticks onto the filter and you gotta twist and pull. Yep. And of course, you know, safety. This is gasoline. Don't smoke, you know. Don't be doing it next to the bonfire. Try and keep it out of your eyes. Yeah.
candlelight?
Oh yeah, you don't be doing it by candlelight. Hurricane lamp after the hurricane. And over here I got a new filter. These have a direction. There is an arrow. I don't know if we could see that in the video.
That's the fuel direction.
That's the direction. Gas tank, carburetor. The gas flows from the gas tank to the carburetor. Have seen people put them on backwards. Not a major deal, but the way it's designed to filter is this is supposed to catch it so you could see any dirt, any debris, any water will separate out. The fuel nowadays, got a lot of ethanol in it. Ethanol attracts water. Engines don't run on water. A good fuel stabilizer, especially before winter, is highly recommended. Put in the recommended dose for storage and run the tractor a good 5-10 minutes. You can put it in the tank, don't run it. Your whole gas line, your carburetor doesn't have any of the stabilizer in it. Run it 5-10 minutes, it'll get stabilizer all up and through, give you a better shot of the fuel staying in the springtime. Fuel nowadays only lasts about 30-45 days before it really starts to lose its octane. Stabilizer helps. They changed the fuel, so back in the day, you know, you can get 108 lead at the pumps because of emissions, because of this, because of that. They got rid of the lead, which actually helped lubricate a lot of the valve train, and it was higher octane, and they added more detergents, ethanol. They did that MTBE. Then they found that ether was getting into the water system, so they got rid of that. Started with ethanol, which I said actually attracts water. And they have what they call phase separation because everything they're adding into the gas. You take gas in a jar, let it set, you'll actually see levels of it actually, you know, coming apart, so to speak.
Will you see the water build up in the filter? You mentioned that there was a
Yep.
water separator in there.
No, it's not really a water, but you'll see a line. Water's heavier, gas floats,
Right.
and if you jiggle it, you'll see, you know, bubbles of water.